console FPS genre was shocked worldwide in late 2000, as TimeSplitters was introduced exclusively for the brand new PlayStation 2. Made by a team of developers including ex-Rareware staff, Free Radical Designs scrambled to bring the couch multiplayer deathmatch of GoldenEye 007 into a new generation of console hardware in just 16 months. Then, just 2 years later, they managed to outdo themselves with TimeSplitters 2. As well as its vastly improved arcade modes, TimeSplitters 2 has a wonderful single-player campaign, consisting mainly of stealth and guns blazing missions. Like the game before it, when you're aiming, the crosshair is placed where the current position of the right stick is. The shooting mechanics, graphical improvements, and tasteful level design is what led TimeSplitters 2 to gain its legendary status. Not only was it inarguably a better game than the first one in basically every single way, this time around, every console of the generation got to play, including the You would think that the spiritual successor to GoldenEye would play nicely on Nintendo hardware, but unfortunately, that was just not the case. While the Xbox and PS2 controllers have normal thumbsticks that give you good room for crosshair positioning, the GameCube controller is a little bit different. The second thumbstick on the GameCube controller is absolutely tiny. Not only is the diameter of the stick itself smaller, but the stick shaft is like a thick nub that gives you even less room to move it around. It's also a nightmare for anybody with larger hands like me. If you're going to play the game like it was intended by the developers, you'll have to play stealthily almost all of the time. Being successfully sneaky involves making pinpoint, precise shots, which is easier said than done no matter what platform you play on. Now I would argue that TimeSplitters has a sky-high ceiling for its aiming and shooting mechanics. The dexterity that the game demands from you also forces you to respect the guns that you're using. And if you get out of line, you're gonna get punished hard. It's a bit of a reach, but the shooting in this game almost reminds me of the mechanics in Counter-Strike, where each gun is like a tool that you have to use in a certain way, with the different spray patterns and such. Just because the shooting is difficult doesn't mean that it's bad. When I picked up this game for the first time last year, it took me like 2 or 3 different sit-down attempts to get through the first level. But as I kept getting through the game, and as I kept getting through the harder and harder missions, I really learned to appreciate it. Other than the controller gripes, however, the GameCube conversion of TimeSplitters 2 is actually a really solid port. On the technical side, the GameCube was far more of a workhorse than the PS2, which means that the game had far more room to breathe. TimeSplitters 2 runs at 60 FPS majority of the time on GameCube, which is not common at the time for a lot of other different shooter games of the generation, let alone on the GameCube. However, among the 3 different versions of TimeSplitters 3, there has to be a best one and a worst. And unfortunately, even though the GameCube version is still a stellar, pure TimeSplitters experience, I would have to say that it's the worst. If I had done my research ahead of time before I bought my copy of the game, I probably would have steered closer to the PS2 version, simply due to the DualShock controller, which is a far better fit for console shooters in general. Thank you very much for watching. Your viewership and engagement is what supports my channel, so I can't appreciate you enough. If you want to see more of these kind of gaming videos, please let me know in the comments, and subscribe if you want to support me.